Hello and welcome back to another video, and thank you as always for watching. And today we're going to be having a little look at the Australian Grand Prix 2022. First time we've been back there since 2019. Never been my favourite track, to be honest. I was kind of expecting it to be a little bit dull, but these new cars seem to be providing a little bit better racing, to be honest. So it wasn't the most insane race, I wouldn't say, but it wasn't a bad race either. So yeah, I definitely watched the whole thing, and well, I watched all of them for the whole thing, but yeah, really quite enjoyed the race. And let's have a look at some of the highlights and possibly lowlights. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to cover everything, otherwise I'll be rambling on even longer than I will anyway. So anyway, yeah, let's look into the start. And obviously Ferrari, very mixed fortunes there. Obviously they looked like they slightly had the edge on the Red Bull through the practice sessions and qualifying. Unfortunately, Sainz got so unlucky with regards to his lap in qualifying. I mean, he could literally see the finish line before that red flag came out, and then had freezing cold tyres when he had his last effort. So, yeah, poor him in qualifying, and then his race didn't really get much better either. I mean, it got worse, to be honest, didn't it? Went back at the start on the on the hard tyres. He couldn't get those switched on at all. Lost loads of places at the start. Then tried a really ambitious move around the I can't remember what the turn name is, but I'm sure you'll have seen it anyway. That ambitious move around the outside. I mean, someone did manage to pull it off in the race. I can't remember who it was, but someone did anyway. But Carlos Sainz did not manage to pull that off anyway. Went onto the grass, got a little spinny-roo, and then managed to beach it in the gravel. So yeah, very unfortunate / not great from him either with regards to that. On the other side of the garage though, Leclerc, absolutely faultless performance all weekend, to be honest. I think he got the Grand Slam, didn't he, which is, what was that, all practices, got a pole, race win and fastest lap. So yeah, absolutely incredible performance from Charles Leclerc, and yeah, hats off to him. He's sort of running away with it in the championship now, isn't he? But you know, I'm a big fan of Charles Leclerc, so I'd be happy for him to win the championship, but obviously we always want it to be close, don't we? We never want anyone to just run away with it. So yeah, hopefully someone can get their act together and you know, put a little bit of a challenge on anyway. That then brings me down to the Red Bulls. Now, wow, it's looking quite worrying for the Red Bulls really at this stage of the season, isn't it? Really. So that's 3 engine failures now, isn't it? In 3 races, obviously 2 in one race and 1 in this one. Must have been quite worrying, or must be quite worrying for that team. I blame the fact they haven't got Honda badge on it anymore. So if they had that Honda badge on it, it wouldn't have broken. So that's what I'm going to say. Yeah, I'm hoping that they can sort something out with regards to the reliability, because you know, it looks like at this stage of the season anyway, certainly Max, well, possibly Perez actually, he's got his act together, could mount a challenge if their car doesn't blow up. So yeah, Perez did obviously well. I'm sure he would have been concerned as well after Max's engine went bang, but apparently that was a different issue on his car. So yeah, well done to Checo for P2. So yeah, that brings us on to Mercedes. Now, wow, this is the second race out of 3 where they have performed or scored a lot higher than they perhaps should have done. The pace of the car is clearly not anywhere near the Ferrari or the Red Bull. That brings me back to the Red Bull actually, before I go on to the Mercedes. We all expected, by the looks of it, we expected it to be a close race between them, but between Ferrari and Red Bull. But obviously it became apparent after like lap 4 or something like that Max's tyres were just completely shot, and he fell massively off the pace. So I mean, he would have probably finished P2, but it would have still been a long way behind old Charlie boy. But anyway, yeah, we'll move on to actual Mercedes now. And yeah, like I said, they seem to keep performing really well, unexpectedly. They've definitely not got the pace, like I said, but you know, they just seem to, it works. That's one thing. They get to the finish line, so you know, that's one big thing. And yeah, they're just solidly in the midfield, aren't they? Well, solidly above the midfield and just behind the 2 front teams. So you know, if they can get their act together, they're in a decent spot in the championship. Obviously, they're second at the minute. You know, if they manage to get their act together in the next couple of races, you know, it could be on. And if any team's going to do it, it's probably Mercedes. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see with regards to that. Great performance from Hamilton and Russell, really. Russell obviously benefited from the safety car, which Hamilton wasn't happy about. Don't blame him, but you can't blame George either, can you? He was just in the right place at the right time. So yeah, well done to both the Mercedes guys, and yeah, let's hope they can take the fight to Ferrari and Red Bull soon. Anyway, that brings us on to McLaren. So much better weekend for McLaren. It was nice to see them up there, although obviously they don't have their outright pace, but it looked at one point like they were keeping up with the Mercedes at one point in the race, and it looked like potentially they might be able to overtake them, but then the Mercedes just seemed to pull the pin. It was either that or the McLaren's tyres dropped off. I don't know either way, but certainly they were up there at the start and then sort of fell off. So well done to Daniel Ricciardo, obviously getting 6th at his home Grand Prix. He'd have been happy about that, even though still finishing behind his teammate. But yeah, one of these days he might beat him. He's certainly getting closer now, so hopefully that will continue. The McLaren, or Norris in particular, does not look particularly confident for the rest of the season though. But yeah, hopefully they can at least maintain that. Brings me on to Alpine now as well, because Fernando Alonso is pretty much my disappointment of the weekend, really, especially after what looked to be incredible in qualifying. I mean, he was on to nearly get a pole lap until his hydraulics failed, and yeah, he decided to exit stage left, as it were. But I think he hurt his hand as well, because he kept his hands on the steering wheel, didn't he? Which doesn't look good. You'll have seen that before when they crash and the steering wheel. But apparently he tried to keep hold of it, so yeah, not surprised his hands hurt there. But yeah, they were looking quite good in the race. They obviously started on the hard tyre after, Alonso did after starting P10? P10 I think it was. Ocon had a pretty quiet race. He had a good result. What did he finish, 7th or something like that? 8th maybe. I can't actually remember, but yeah, I had all eyes on Alonso the whole race, especially after they didn't really get lucky with the safety car, but it didn't kind of hinder them too much either, because they wouldn't have been able to go to the end of the race on mediums anyway at that point. But when Alonso did strap on those mediums, with the pace he's had all weekend, I think myself and I think a lot of people were, oh right, he's going to battle through the field here. And that just never materialised, and yeah, I was really gutted, because I wanted to see him charge through the field, perhaps finish P6, something like that, but yeah, that never happened. But at least the pace of the Alpine is encouraging, and yeah, hopefully they can bring that to more circuits in the coming races. But anyway, obviously I haven't spoken about everyone, but I think I've rambled on for long enough anyway, so I'm going to wrap this one up. But yeah, thanks ever so much, as always, for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.